Death is a touchy subject, especially with kidney disease. I've had to come to terms with the idea of dying, multiple times during this process, in the last 3 years. And I totally get it. Like, nobody wants to think about the idea of them dying. But the reality is that, granted, I don't get hit by a bus or something like that, chances are kidney disease is probably going to be how I die. And that's the reality of the thing. Like, I have come to terms with it. It's not a subject that is a touchy subject for me. It's not a sensitive subject. But you get a lot of people that are afraid of death. And once again, I totally get it. Nobody wants to die, especially if they have things that they feel like they still have left to do, or if they have loved ones that are going to miss them. But in my case, I get it. And people think that, if I get a kidney, that's just going to fix everything. And that's not how it works. Kidneys have a shelf life because it's not my kidney. It might last a year, maybe 2, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 20. It just depends. Like, this whole process has just been one giant unknown. And with death, it's also the same thing. You're walking into the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen when you die. You have some people that think they do, but who's to say that's not a chemical reaction to acclimate you to the process of passing away? Who's to say? But who's to say there's not an afterlife? Who's to say that there's not this divine place where your soul goes after you die? I don't know. I'm just going based off of my own personal beliefs. People are just going based off their own personal beliefs. I personally don't believe that. Not after everything I've seen, not after everything that's happened to me. And I understand the fear. I understand being so afraid of it, of death, of dying, that you don't even want to talk about it. You don't even want to think about it. The concept is foreign to you. But I would be doing myself a disservice if I ignored what was right in front of me. And me and the idea of death have become very close acquaintances as of late. It always feels like it's this thing that's just looming over everything that I do. And people will try to rationalize that, oh, well, death comes for everybody. And that is true. Death does come from everybody. But it's not quite the same when you have a chronic illness that affects your life this negatively. Major organ failure is not the same as dying at a ripe old age. Living a full, happy life. And people will argue that, well, why can't you just do that anyway? You can just do that while you're on dialysis. Why can't you just do that anyway? And I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, it always feels like I can never be as happy as I would like to be, or as I could be, because there's always this thing looming over me. I always have to stop. My life has been irreversibly changed by the fact that I am on dialysis and I have kidney failure. And I can try to tell myself all day long that it doesn't matter and that this doesn't affect me, but it does. And being self-aware is being honest with yourself. And if you're being honest with yourself, it affects you too. If you are somebody that is on dialysis, that is suffering from end-stage renal failure. I'm not saying that I'm not afraid or I'm 100% okay with the idea of dying. So like, I'm just gonna go around and just not care about anything that I do. No, but I'm more comfortable with the subject than I was previously. But I've never been the kind of individual that wasn't comfortable with that. You know, I was never the kind of individual that but if you want to become more comfortable with the subject, you got to ask the tough questions.